Good morning guys, how are we all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. This is our Bitcoin morning update. So if you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, we will go straight over to those charts. So Bitcoin on the 4 hour, obviously it is not looking good here. This is well, clearly a confirmed lower high. We have lost that very important area of 10,600 and are currently well, in what appears to be a bear flag below the resistance. So if any asset is going to bark back up, it is Bitcoin, but obviously just technical analysis wise, you would have to say that is the less likely scenario. But again, Bitcoin does not have a mind of its own. It's going to follow stock markets and the dollar, and stock futures are looking a little bit better this morning. And well, I think the dollar's possibly slightly coming off a little bit, but nothing major. But we're going to have a look at that in a moment. But yeah, I mean, as it stands, we have to actually break back above 10,600 and hold above there for then what will actually look like a higher, well, will actually be a higher low, won't it, clearly, relative to this low, and this low. So then we may not look so bad at that point, but yeah, I mean, we are kind of just looking at the overall trend from this high, this lower high, this lower high, which is clearly going to be more important as a downtrend than this shorter time frame low, high, low, and high, low. So yeah, I mean, it is obviously in the balance with a downward bias, Bitcoin charts alone, but we got to look at it in the wider context of what is going on in the overall markets. So that being said, we're going to have a look at the stock futures. As you can see, this is a 4 hour, we are holding just under this pretty important resistance level. So I think if we get back above this resistance level, get into this zone here, we can start to potentially form a base in the stocks and start to move our way up. But clearly, if we don't get back above here and we start to come down again, I mean, realistically, this is going to be the next target. Yeah, won't look so good on that basis. Dollar index, well, like I said, it's slowly coming off a little bit from its highs, but yeah, but nothing major really. All I will say, it has basically come and perfectly tagged our horizontal. Well, it's good to see that the efficacy of the lines, yeah, I mean, is that it? Are we going to retreat from here? Are we done? Well, obviously we've got a longer time frame trend down, but a shorter, well, it's not necessarily, well, it is up in this sort of short term here, but in this overall context, it is more sideways. So are we going to break up? Are we going to break down? This is the level though, guys, where we've rejected from. If we get above here, I think that will, well, it will clearly trigger a lot of stops. Yeah, there'll be quite potentially be FOMOing into the dollar and FOMOing out of everything else. So yeah, we have got to take that into consideration. Gold as well, not looking good, looking like it wants to come and try and swipe these lows out again. I mean, this isn't much of a move based on the potential expansion of volatility we're looking for. Yeah, it's got a lot of way to run, be that more to the downside, or do we reverse and go to the upside? Either way, there is a lot more to run in this asset. Let's just have a quick look at silver also. Silver, as you can see, silver's pretty much near enough, well, not far off meeting its targets, but clearly this is it's not bullish, is it? It is clearly not bullish. I mean, maybe at some point we can put in a bottom and turn around, but I mean, silver isn't really something you would expect necessarily a bar pattern from, although we kind of did at that point really, but we did ultimately see more weakness and come back down to where we were. So overall, it is a case of where's the dollar going to go, where a stock's going to go, is something going to happen, or is the Fed going to come out? I mean, you know my opinion on this. I think they will and they have to, because if they don't, then if this starts to go, it could spell the end of the financial system as we know it. and I'm not too sure how anybody wants that to be dealing with that during the election process. It's probably something better dealt with in a few months' time when we have a new president confirmed, who can then crack on with whatever he needs to do without partisan politics and election politics playing into it. So on that basis, I mean, the Fed's probably going to have to deal with this at some point. But I don't think leaving it to implode is at this present time is the most prudent thing to do. Also, something I did mean to mention on last night's video, actually, that had totally slipped my mind. We were talking about the fact that they basically released these documents saying how the banks have laundered trillions and were generally bad, and etc. etc. And I find that quite convenient, that timing, that they're now like having an apparent basically witch hunt against like the mainstream banks, the investment banks. Is that because the Fed is basically cutting them out as a middleman, wants us to basically get rid of these guys as a middleman and just deal directly with a central bank cryptocurrency and a Fed coin, and not having to have these guys, these fraudulent, really bad banks that were doing all these bad deeds with clearly the government and no one in power knowing about it. Obviously, you guys might detect a lot of sarcasm there, because clearly they did know about it, they were profiting from it, and they were happy to go along with it all. But yeah, are they now turning against these banks, want to eliminate them and run a Fed coin where you get like a Fed card? If obviously this is in the US, well, to be honest, I wouldn't even rule out them trying to do it across the world. But yeah, I mean, clearly in the US first, give you like a Fed card, and they'll load that up with their cryptocurrency, then track your spending and everything that's going on. I mean, is this just a prelude to more middleman bank bashing, how we can't trust them and we need to have a central bank cryptocurrency, and these guys can't be trusted, needs to be controlled by the government, even though these banks and institutions have a basically revolving door between the government and themselves, so they basically are the same thing. But hey, it's all about optics, isn't it? It's all about managing how things look. So yeah, back over to Bitcoin. We will have a look at those stochastics. Are we looking like we've got a point to put in a potential bottom? 4 hour does look like it does. It looks like it could turn back up. But obviously, as we know, the same as we say at the top, we can get jammed up at the top for a while. If price is coming down, we can still get jammed down at the lows. So we'll have to look for some higher time frames for guidance. 10 hour is swooping down low. So potentially at some point that'll turn back up. 12 hour, our winner chicken dinner, Bitcoin cheat codes. Yeah, getting into the bearish zone. So based on the 12 hour, we've got plenty of room to run here to the downside. Plenty of room to run. I mean, realistically, we do have this trend line still drawn in. We did get support at the 10k. Will we come down to this trend line and the 10k region again? Well, it's not even 10k, to be honest. This is the 10k region. This is 9,700. I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing as long as we bounce there. But if we don't bounce there, then we're done. That's it. Stick a fork in it. But obviously, it's going to come down to the dollar. It literally is going to come down to the dollar. Looking at levels and price action in Bitcoin at this present time, isn't in isolation is definitely not the best strategy. Daily looked like it's coming down, didn't even make itself into that critical zone there. 2 day, 2 days pointing up, but looking like it's starting to weaken, and 3 day is turning up. But I mean, obviously, if the 2 days weakening, that 3 day will potentially be weakening, and obviously 5 day and weekly still doing their thing, and weekly still giving us the potential for about a 40% retracement. Let's just have a look at the 24th, see where Bitcoin was on the 24th. Let's just get this up again. 24th, yes, it was around this level. So far from that candle close, we're playing out about a 10% retracement, which isn't enough from the weekly stakes. I mean, we can get to 30 to 40%, but obviously it doesn't have to play out. It can turn back up, and then, I mean, again, back to that bi-weekly. We'll keep talking about until it's no longer relevant. Obviously plenty more time left to go in this candle, but at the moment pretty bearish looking candle. Doji candle there, price tried to rally, got rejected. I mean, if we start coming down lower, this will look like another very bearish candle, and well, you would really have to look at take a long hard look at are we going to bounce this level, or are we going to take it out? This be a weak attempt to break out of the inverse head and shoulders, and in which point we're going to get slammed. We are going to get absolutely slammed. But again, it's going to come down to the stock market and the dollar. So basically we are basically trading a sort of a leverage position on the dollar and stock markets, basically, when we're trading cryptocurrency. So yeah, just be aware of what you're actually doing. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it is down to this asset, it is down to stock markets. Can we mount a comeback today? Potentially oil ticking up as well, which is clearly good for the inflation trade. Obviously deflation is what is going to do it. What is going to basically ruin everything for us. Deflation is going to result in the dollar going up. It's going to result in stock markets going down, and it's going to result quite heavy commodities getting hit particularly heavily. So yeah, that is it really, guys. A bit of potential. Well, the trend. Well, we're not on messing about here. We're gonna say it how we see it. 4 hour 9 coming in later on today. Could that help us? 12 hour, nowhere near the 12 hour 9, and clearly going to be nowhere near the daily 9. But is that a bit wonky? Let's straighten that out a bit. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, lots to keep an eye out, really. Stock market and dollar at the moment looking like they're trying to dollar trying to put in a top. Stock markets look like they're trying to bounce, but hey, that can turn on a dime, especially with the US cash open, when potentially investors think, right, we're going to dump our stocks. Obviously we know they've got option expiry, so we've got a lot of shenanigans. Well, we had a lot of shenanigans based on that. And yeah, so there we go, guys. Remember, this is not a financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I will speak to you guys later on today.